Are we live? We are live. Let me share this bad boy out because I'm like 90% convinced no one's gonna think I'm actually streaming today because of my post from 2 days ago, but we'll see. We will see. When in doubt, I'll just play Spider-Man. Although I'm like in a Batman mood right now. Really, I'm in a Flash mood, but like there is no Flash video game. Best thing we got is Injustice 2. You know that I think about it. Everyone keeps pitching like an open world Flash game. That's like not the move though. I feel like if you're gonna make a Flash game, it shouldn't be open world. It should be like a linear, like not web of shadows. That's open world. It should be like a Shattered Dimensions kind of thing. That way you can get like 4 Flashes. I mean, ideally, like Jay Garrick, Wally West, Barry Allen, Bart Allen. You know, do the past, present, other present, super future type deal. I don't know. I think it could definitely work. I'm kind of like do it in the vein of like those games with like the little jester that aren't Sonic games, but like are definitely what everyone who's a Sonic fan says the 3D Sonic game should be. I think that's like how you make a Flash game, but oh well. I'm not a developer. I'm just some dork on YouTube. Alright. I'm going to stick around for like a couple more minutes, and if no one shows up, then like I'll completely understand, because I did not advertise this at the fuck all. She didn't read Green Arrow number 3. Let's see what this looks like. Alright. Alright, I'll give it like or 5 minutes or 4 minutes. Once we hit 5 minutes and no one shows up, then I'll just do Spider-Man. Oh, what's up, Josiah? Hey, how you living, fam? Right on time. I was like literally about to just switch over to playing video games. How you living? What comics you reading? Spread them. And by spread them, I mean your stash for this week. I mean, I can't see you, but like, I'm gonna spread my stash. This is what I mean when I say spread them. Don't get any weird, silly ideas. Or do get some silly ideas. I don't know. The way YouTube works now, it may as well be the hub. Either that or it's just my algorithm being weird. But, I like feel so bad looking at all these like DC covers with the Blue Beetle movie logo on it. I really want this movie to do well because I love Jaime Reyes, but yeah, after the reception that The Flash got, I don't think it's gonna do well. I don't think it's gonna do well. Are you talking about comics? Unspreads legs. Who told you to unspread them? Get back on that street corner. Make me my $1 million. But yeah, dude, I don't know. It's just a weird like. Did you like the Flash? Oh man, it's so weird. So I did like the Flash, and I was weirdly surprised that I did. Am I gonna do a whole review on this? Probably not. I don't. It's one of those things where like I kind of care, but I don't care. Like I cared too much for a time, and then I just kind of I'm back to not caring that much anymore. But yeah, the Flash is a weird movie for me, man. That's a movie that had everything going against it. For me personally, as a Flash comic book fan, I was not into the casting of Barry Allen. Even going back to like Justice League, and even in like the Snyder cut of Justice League, I appreciate that movie. I appreciate what Zack Snyder's going for. I really like the Snyder cut of Justice League, but I just don't like Ezra Miller as Barry Allen. He doesn't really strike me as Barry Allen. I've heard a lot of people say that he's like Wally West. I don't get where they're getting that from. He doesn't act anything like Wally West. Like that. I'll grant you Bart Allen. You know, he acts a lot like Bart Allen, but I don't see Wally in his performance at all. But yeah, I'm not really down with Ezra Miller's casting. Him as a person aside, but even then, that gets into some weird like Hollywood as an industry and how it treats child actors after they grow up, and I don't really want to touch that. But I mean, someone did, but I don't. But yeah, no, as for the movie itself, just as a story, as a cinematic experience, I really enjoyed it. It's weird. I don't like Flashpoint, but the Flashpoint stuff worked in this movie for me. I don't like Michael Keaton Batman, but his character worked for me. The whole thing where Sasha Calle, Kale, I don't know. I'm a stupid American. I'm terrible with names, but like, I think it's Calle because she's Latina, I think, or they're Latina. I don't want to assume, but yeah, I thought Sasha Calle was really good in this movie, despite going into this thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be like so stupid because they killed Superman as a baby, and now Supergirl is the new Superman. But I thought her story worked very well in the movie. Dude, overall, and this is gonna be a hot take. This is gonna be like the hottest of takes. I might end up losing my nerd badge over it, but I honestly thought this movie was better than Spider-Man No Way Home. In a lot of respects, I felt like The Flash was the movie people who love and praise and say that No Way Home is the greatest cinematic opus of Spider-Man ever is in actuality. And that's not me trying to like pit, these two films against each other to put one down and prop the other one up. Like, I still really enjoy No Way Home for what it is, but it is a fan service engine. The story is about as solid as a flaccid noodle on Epstein Island without the Viagra. Like it's there's not much there. It's just the feel good vibes of, hey, remember these other Spider-Men from these other movies that you liked and didn't like, but now you're gonna retroactively say you liked because now it's popular to say you liked them. That's all that movie really has going for it. The story, I think, retroactively makes the previous two Tom Holland Spider-Man movies like worse. But I don't know, when it comes to the Flash, like, there's an actual story there. Barry Allen has like a character arc. You know, the side characters who are just clearly there for nostalgia purposes, namely Michael Keaton, and some of the cameos that are there in the Justice League and like the wider DC universe. They serve a function, and they inform Barry Allen's journey. Like it's I mean the bar sounds like it's very low, and maybe it is very low for me, but like that's, I don't know, man. This movie works. I mean, I get people not liking it for like ethical reasons, but I feel like if you're talking about any Hollywood production, you gotta check your ethics at the door, because the entertainment industry is nightmare fuel when you get into how it functions. But B, I don't know, just like as a movie, as a story, it's a good DC movie. It like kind of hits the nail on the head with, you know, everything DC can be, everything DC like wonderfully, gloriously just kind of is. It just puts that on film. I mean, the CGI cameo stuff, I think, was very it was very much in poor taste. I really think Andy Muschietti, and I get what he was going for. Like, as soon as he explained the whole thing with the Speed Force, like how like, you know, when you get into like the Chrono Bowl, you're not actually seeing the past, you're seeing how you remember the past, and everything's supposed to be uncanny because the past is gone. Like, that's literally why Barry is running on sand, and why the sand is just kind of like draining into this abyss beneath him, because it's you can't get those memories back. You can just get how they made you feel. Like, I get what he was trying to do with that. I get what he was trying to communicate with that. It's just I don't think that it came out all that well, especially when some of the CGI is already like not that great. But then you get to like the whole CGI cameos, and I get what the whole Uncanny Valley thing is communicating. It's about how like these worlds are gone, these worlds are dead. They should stay in the past. You can't live there. I get it. It's just he shouldn't have done it. Especially the George Reeves one. That was like the Christopher Reeve one. I'm sure his family signed off on that. Sure, I don't like it. It's in very poor taste. But I mean, we live in this cyberpunk dystopian future already. It's here. It's not coming. It's already here. So, you know, this is what it is. But the George Reeves one is that's the one that's like particularly in bad taste. Especially like given the history of the man and why he, you know, why he felt that his only escape was through, you know, self-deletion. Yeah, puppeteering his corpse as Superman is pretty bleak. But I don't know, but those cameos are like blink and you miss it. Like, they're just kind of there to represent the multiverse. Outside of that, like as far as the story goes, everything with like Barry interacting with his younger self, and then later an older version of his younger self from the alternate timeline that he created. I don't know, all that worked for me. It all. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, especially compared to like again, No Way Home. Really fun experience. It's a really fun celebration of Spider-Man on film. But outside of that, the story is very lackluster. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Not really a Doctor Strange movie. It's a MCU like, hey, look at us. We got all the properties now. Let's watch Doctor Strange become a backseat character in his own movie. Like, cameos. Again, that's a movie I also enjoy, but like it's not, the story's not really there. The only other like multiverse superhero movie that like really I think works is the first Spider-Verse movie. I mean, Across the Spider-Verse has a lot going for it. I have some personal issues with it as a Spider-Man fan, but I don't know, as a story, I think the Spider-Verse movies are like up here, and then I'd put the Flash like right below them, but like directly below them. Like it's not like a far like here's Spider-Verse and here's Flash, it's all the way down there. Like no, I think it's a really quality film. Again, outside of the whole Ezra Miller controversy, I don't really see the big problem with the movie. It's a good movie. I don't know. Now I'm just repeating myself, but I enjoyed The Flash. I thought it was good. I thought it was better than the other live action superhero multiverse movies that have come out. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know. The with great power line was so shoehorned and rushed in No Way Home. Yeah, dude, and it also just it pinpoints everything that I think is wrong with the MCU Spider-Man Home trilogy. Like if you wanted to make a big deal about starting your Spider-Man franchise in the MCU post-origin, why would you then waste 3 movies to just tell another origin story? Supreme Omega says, I'm not going to see the Flash film because I'm sick of Barry Allen and Flashpoint in all media. I feel that. No, I definitely feel that. That's how I felt going into the movie, and then I walked out going like, oh, that was pretty good. I also like the surprise ending cameo. I thought that was pretty fun. How's the cat? Oh, well, she's doing all right now. But you know, she is. We made the decision, so you know, we're gonna say goodbye to her on Friday. But yeah, thanks for asking though. Thank you, Adam. Supreme Omega says on digital recreations and holograms of dead celebrities. How do you feel if a dead celebrity didn't want that in their will and legal document because Prince didn't want that in his legal will? Well, it's hard to say because we didn't... This technology is very new. So, who's to say that someone isn't gonna, like digitally, like, necromance John Wayne? You know? I'm sure he didn't have any idea that this technology would exist, like, 70 years after his death at this point? Like, Buster Keaton had no idea. You know, are we just gonna, like, digitally recreate him? Like, it's very... On the one hand, it's a horrifying thought to process, but on the other, I'm just like so black-pilled at this point. Bro, I'm not sure like where the bulk of you guys live, but like out here in the States, there are like major cities that are like literally cutting down trees and then putting up like those little really ugly like algae tanks for like air filtration, and like it looks like some shit you'd see in Cyberpunk 2077 or Blade Runner. It's I want to ask how did we get here, but I know how we got here. And I hate it. But I love it because I'm coping. Yeah, you know, just this is the future. Welcome to the future. It's awful. Did I hear that, man? Get the okay. Oh yeah, I'll yeah, she gets lots of love. She's a very spoiled kitty. Very spoiled old lady. She's like 14. She would have been like, or she's like later this year she would have turned 15, but yeah. Between all the flashes, as white boys, who do you think could rock dreads the best? Bart. I think Bart could rock the white boy dreads the best. I mean, hold on a second. Are we counting Ace as a Flash too? Because there's a future timeline. I mean, the New 52 doesn't exist anymore, but like there was a future timeline in which Ace did become the Flash, and he had a really cool silver costume. It's actually in this, which I picked up today. Like the Dark Crisis tie-in. They flash back to that I guess that era and what that costume would have looked like. Oh man, where is it? It's in here somewhere. I like literally saw it today as I was flipping through this goddamn thing. Where is it? But I don't know. It was a really cool costume. Honestly, oh, here we go. All right. This one right here. It's this silver and black suit. I'm not sure if you can like see it or make it out, but honestly, I feel like if you kept the exposed head area and you just like had Ace wear this costume, it would look really good with dreads. It would look really good with dreads. I'm still of the unpopular opinion that we really should have just kept. Like I'm glad Wally's back and I love this run, but for the sake of my nerd brain, there being two Wallys now, and then like retroactively saying that there've always been two Wallys, so that whenever I go back and I read old Silver Age Flash comics, I have to like just pretend that there's Wally and Ace and they've always existed as you know what would have been better if we just said that New 52 Wally is just Wally, and you just started writing him more like Wally. And you have him grow up, and he gets a Vietnamese girlfriend named Linda, and then you just tell stories in this new rebooted universe where you have fertile ground to do whatever the hell you want to do. That's my big problem with the New 52 in general, man. Like, towards the end, it really was just DC lazily throwing bones to, like, the older fans. I mean, I appreciated them at the time, but, like, why the fuck do we have to bring in, like, post-Crisis Superman to replace New 52 Superman when all you had to do was just have editorial step the hell back and then put Kurt Busiek or somebody on the book and you just tell Superman stories? Because now we got a whole mess of continuity where, like, John Kent is in there somewhere. Like between Death of Superman, John Kent is born, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, like, Connor is from another timeline. I don't do that. You know what would have made New 52, or I guess that DCU era of the New 52 work? Just don't worry about trying to fix the DC continuity. Just tell good stories and then bring in older characters under, like, new guises. I think the best Rebirth book to do that was the Benjamin Percy Green Arrow title with when Otto Schmidt was doing the art. That was an excellent way to take a New 52 version of a classic DC Comics character and then take what worked in that New 52 era, grandfather it into the new Rebirth era, but then also loop in some older characters like Shadow. And actually, I think Shadow was also in I think she was in the New 52. But still, like, they write her more like her Mike Grell counterpart. You bring in I think Connor Hawke is reintroduced under Rebirth as well. Well, they mention him or they mention his existence. But yeah, man, just rope the old new stuff in and bring in the old stuff. That's all you got to do. It's not rocket science, but DC made it rocket science, and now we're at a weird omniverse canon where everything it makes sense when you don't think about it. So I'm just not gonna think about it. But Adam says Bart is an excellent choice. Ace can count, but yes, I remember Bart's ridiculous long hair from back in the day. Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I'm actually, like, reading a lot of that material right now. Because I am going through these bad boys. I'm going through the whole Mark Waid era of The Flash. I just got to volume 4. Apparently, on the reading list on Reddit, the Bart Impulse run is like a 12-issue maxi series. Takes place between volumes 3 and 4, so I'm gonna try to get that. It's just, like, hella expensive. That's the only thing keeping me from getting it. Well, that, and also I just don't have a lot of space in my room for more comics, which I keep buying because I have an addiction. But yeah, no. I'm gonna check out the Bart Impulse book. It's kind of weird. Impulse was a character I just did not like when I was a kid. I thought he was, like, obnoxious and annoying. But after reading his introduction in, like, the beginning of the Cobra arc, I got it. Like, I get it. I get his character now. In a way that I didn't when I was reading Young Justice and the later Jeff Johns Teen Titans run, and, you know, some of the later Flash material. I get his character now in a way that I didn't when I was growing up, and I appreciate him more now. But yeah, I'm really enjoying all this stuff. I just read Terminal Velocity again. It's so good. God, dude, this is okay. When people always, like, bitch and moan about how, like, the 90s is bad, I always just point to this and go, like, okay, this came out in the 90s and this is amazing. So your point is null and it's invalid, and L plus ratio plus didn't ask plus go away. Irrelevant. Your taste are mediocre. Mediocre. He also looks like Ultimate Peter Parker. Yeah, a little bit. I wonder if that's what Mark Bagley was pulling from when he was drawing Ultimate Spider-Man. How do you feel? What's up, Supreme? How you doing, man? How do you feel when a controversial dead celebrity gets digitally recreated? Someone who may have been guilty of certain allegations. I feel the answer that I should give is I feel bad and morality is at stake and the human condition is now in question. But at this point, I feel nothing. I feel nothing. Literally, I was like walking outside my door today, and the air is like so thick and toxic because we've had like wildfires that are just raging, because our environment's all fucked up, and we have all these like, I was talking earlier about like the weird algae tanks in like major cities. Dude, we're living in Blade Runner. We live in the fucked up dystopian cyberpunk apocalypse. We're here. It kind of sucks. I mean, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer here, but yeah, I don't know. It's the world's broken. There's no Superman to fix it. It's just the Wallace Corporation and the Arasaka Corporation. And it just be like that. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks. Adam says the double Wallies is worse than Ultimate Peter Parker still being alive. You know what? I disagree only because the double Wallies is annoying, but I think Jeremy Adams found a way to make it work. Ultimate Peter coming back from the dead, though, spits in the face of everything that Bendis was kind of building to with like Miles the character. It would kind of be like if after like the first like 30 or 40 issues of the Wally West book in the 80s, you just bring Barry Allen back from the dead and say, okay, never mind. That I think is egregious. I think that is actually really bad. Like the double Wallies is annoying. Bringing Peter back from the dead while Miles is still Spider-Man, I think was egregious. That was awful. But I do hope that in the new rebooted Ultimate Universe that Hickman is starting to create, or I guess rumored to create, Miles is gonna be the one and only Spider-Man of that universe. That's a rumor. But I hope to God that's the case, because having Miles exist in the 616 Marvel universe, it doesn't work. It does not work when there's like 800 million different spider people that he's bumping elbows with, and he has to share the same like page space. I don't. It's just. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Hey man, it could have been worse. Imagine if they had Wally be biracial. I mean, I don't mind, honestly. Like again, that's one of those things where like some characters I am like totally like don't change their race, don't do it. You're gonna break it. Other characters I'm like it's whatever. In the case of Wally West, he's the latter. I think if you make him black, I think if you make him Hispanic, I think if you if you change his race at all, as long as you keep the core building blocks of who Wally West is as a character, which are he grew up in a really abusive household with uh, parents who weren't like they had good intentions in raising their child because they loved them, but they didn't know how to be parents. And that like really messes with Wally like as a person, like on a fundamental level. Like he needs validate, like he's seeking validation constantly because he never got it at home. And like the best years of his childhood life were spent with his Aunt Iris and her boyfriend and later husband Barry. I think if you keep that, like you keep the kid who feels trapped in his own home, but he loves the Flash, and then he gets to live out his epic fantasy in being Kid Flash. I think if you keep that, you know, then everything else is fine. So yeah, I that's why I really didn't have a problem with Wally West being black in the New 52 universe. You know, I didn't mind it. I just didn't like what they were doing with him. You know, when they just kind of made him like ghetto black hood rat. I didn't like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Also, you can still like have a biracial like ginger. A lot of them exist. What's up, 1610? 1610 minutes is Marvel and DC equals everything's canon, I guess. Grant Morrison's Flash. Oh, that run is so epic. I love it so much. It's kind of weird too. Like a lot of the major developments in a lot of modern Flash lore come from that run. When Grant Morrison and Mark Miller were literally just tasked with writing. Thank you. But like a lot of the major developments for the Flash happened in that run when Grant Morrison and Mark Miller were just tasked with writing fill-in issues. Like the whole Speed Force costume, that's in the whole thing with the suit, I think it's called, where it's like a sentient costume that like tries to kill you from beyond the grave. I insane. Also, the whole thing where like the Speed Force starts to like tear you apart as you enter it. That I think is introduced in The Human Race by Grant Morrison and Mark Miller. Wally and Linda getting married. I mean, the actual marriage issue is not in the Grant Morrison and Mark Miller run, but Wally proposes in that run. So I don't know, man. It's just a lot of really important stuff for the Flash happened in like those 6 or 7 issues. Insanity. What is it about Flashpoint that you don't like? I don't like how it makes Barry Allen retroactively just another orphan superhero kid. One of the things that I think really works about the Flash as a character and the concept is that in a world of epic, operatic, larger than life ideas, you know, like Batman is this like epic, operatic, like myth, you know. My parents were gunned down in an alley, and I swore on their graves that I would dedicate my life to the night. Like it's big, it's bombastic. He wears this big Dracula costume, and he wars on crime. It's epic, you know. Superman is the whole thing where, you know, last hope, desperate scientists, kindly couple, Superman, like the planet go boom, and the baby is the epic journey of the the legacy of Krypton. He's the last son of Krypton. Like, it's everything's so big in the DC universe. Barry Allen is that character who grew up loving superheroes, watching superheroes. He always wanted to be a superhero as a kid. The closest thing he got to that was being a cop, and not even like a field cop. He like works in a lab, but you know he's still doing his part. He's still helping. And one instance, he gets struck by lightning, gets the superpowers of his favorite childhood superhero, and then there's no like epic hero's journey. There's no big bombastic like pathos. It's literally just, I like superheroes. I'll be a superhero. It's fun. Like, come on, like that's what differentiates him from the rest of the Justice League. You know, you have all these characters of epic drama and pathos. You know, Aquaman is, I'm the king born between two worlds, and I'm at constant struggle with my heritage. And Flash is just like, I like comic books as a kid, so I became a superhero because I thought it would be fun. Like, Flash is Saitama, you know, he's Deku. It's, I don't know, I love that about his character. And then he goes off and becomes the greatest hero that ever lived when he sacrifices his life to save the multiverse. There's no big pathos to him. It's literally just, I want to help people because I liked superheroes as a kid. There's something really endearing about that. And I feel like when you make him another superhero born from tragic murder, you kind of lose that. So that's my big gripe with Flashpoint. That's what I don't like about Flashpoint. Adam says, that's ironic. I just finished reading the Mike Baron and Messenger Loeb's run, and it was fantastic. Mike Baron Flash. Let me see. Oh, that's like the beginning of post-crisis Flash. Some of that material is pretty fun. I appreciate it before I actually like it. But yeah, that stuff's pretty fun. Uh, 1610 Man says Bendis is Luke Cage. Honestly, he's the last real version of Luke Cage that we've seen in Marvel Comics, or anything for that matter. Supreme Omega says, I feel the 2000s had a worse problem than the 90s, especially for DC. The 2000s was not a good time for DC, especially if you were a fan of those 90s legacy heroes. Yeah. The more 90s DC I read, the more I understand why a lot of people have a hard time with stories like Identity Crisis. Now, for me personally, I didn't grow up with those characters. I didn't grow up loving, like, you know, Justice League International. I didn't grow up loving a lot of the weird stuff that DC was trying to do with Superman in the 90s. I mean, I like 90s Superman a lot, but like the lore with 90s Superman is sometimes just like you're trying to square a circle that is actually a triangle because you want to do some pre-crisis Superman stuff, but you can't now. So what if we just make Supergirl a purple alien pile of goo, just Pepto-Bismol? What if we got Pepto-Bismol Matrix Supergirl, because we can't actually do Supergirl? What if General Zod and like the Kryptonian insurgents are from a pocket dimension? I forgot how we got on this topic, but yeah, I don't know. I grew up on 2000s DC, like early 2000s DC. But reading a lot of the 90s DC, I do get some problems people have with the 2000s era. Um, did you read Ultimate Invasion? I did read Ultimate Invasion, and I talked about Ultimate Invasion on the Previews World Roundtable podcast. We had a whole discussion about it. In fact, I am going to link it in the chat for you guys now. Is this one? Yep, there it is. Oh god, I really hate hearing my voice. Like, I don't know. So, I think, although apparently everyone hates hearing their own voice, but that's the. But yeah, here I am on Previous World talking about the Ultimate Invasion and the prospect that it lays the groundwork for. I am cautiously optimistic. I love Jonathan Hickman. I love Jonathan Hickman's era in the Ultimate Universe. Although going back and reading some of the past Ultimate Universe material, I don't know how you bring that universe back. I mean, if you're gonna reboot it, I don't know how you bring the flavor of some of that material back, just because the Ultimate Universe was born out of an era when Marvel was still niche enough to where you could get away with doing certain things. Like, for example, and I bring this up at the podcast, Nick Fury being married to Maria Hill, and then them getting a divorce, like, almost immediately because she notices that Nick Fury plowed every woman in her family, including her sisters and her mom. Like, you can't do that now because Nick Fury is like an action figure for 9-year-olds for the Captain Marvel movie. So you can't have Nick Fury be basically Henry Kissinger and Shaft fused into one character. You can't do that. You can't have war criminal Nick Fury. You can't have Captain America being a parody of John Wayne. You know, there's like weird post Me Too stuff that you just can't do with Tony Stark now in the Ultimate Universe. So like, I don't know what you do with a modern user friendly version of the Ultimate Universe. I don't know how that works. And that's my big reservation with the Ultimate Universe coming back. I feel like at best we're going to see a case where it's just MCU 2.0, but they can do more weird things with it. But at worst, and like just me being pragmatic, me looking at what the most likely outcome is that you get the Ultimate Universe back, but like no one working on those titles in that universe get the joke, because the Ultimate Universe it's a satirical look on the Marvel Universe, which itself, you know, going back to the 60s, is a satirical look at superheroes as a concept. And there's a lot of stories like deconstructing the deontological nature of superheroes and like heroism through the lens of American superhero media. But in an age where the main Marvel universe is just like DC Junior, and the MCU is basically just the DC universe with like Marvel characters in it. I worry for the Ultimate Universe coming back, but hey man, we will see. You know, we shall see. And whether I want it or not, it's coming. It's coming. Like Nick Fury and Maria Hill's family members, it's coming. Uh, uh, like Wolverine and an underage girl. It's coming. You also couldn't do that. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe you could because they adapt that in the Ultimate Spider-Man like Disney XD series. Weirdly enough, which is so weird. So many people have a problem with that, and they're like, "This is problematic," and it's like, yeah, that's the point that it's bad. I don't know. Sometimes I also think people forget that the Marvel Universe characters inherently are morally gray is putting it very lightly and kindly, but a lot of those characters are kind of. You have to take a beyond good and evil approach to judging those characters and their actions sometimes. But that's what makes the Marvel Universe unique and interesting. And I don't know. I don't know if you can get away with doing that now. Mainly because the Marvel Universe is just so commercial now. But we shall see. Again, you know, we shall see. Jeff Johns' Flash. Might be in reference to something I said like earlier, but I like the beginning of Jeff Johns' run on the Flash. I love that Wally West era, like everything from the beginning of his run with like the Iron Heights prison being introduced to the DC universe, up to what's it called? Is it Rogue War? I think. Where like it ends with Linda giving birth to the twins. Like I think all that stuff's really good. I mean, I still think it was a mistake to undo the public identity, but you know, that aside, I think the run itself is really good. Supreme Omega says on Grant Morrison and Mark Miller. I wonder what happened to their partnership. Oh yeah, okay. Because for a time they were thick as thieves. Apparently, the relationship ended on bad terms. Yeah, I don't know. That's maybe some personal stuff between them. I mean, you could ask them. You could literally just like hit them up in the DMs and ask them what happened. Although I feel like it's one of those things that like you shouldn't. They have their reasons for maybe not being friends anymore, or maybe it's all just like kayfabe. I don't know. But that's one of those things where like I want to ask, but like I also feel like I'd get an answer that I don't want. So I just don't ask. Flash Rebirth retcon. Oh boy, not another Batman style origin story. Yep. That's my big thing. That's why I don't like it. Supreme Omega says, Bat Family question. Okay, let's go for it. On Tim Drake, do you feel his dad should be resurrected? His stepmom brought back, his best friend, Ives returned, and have him retire from the vigilante life? My gut answer is no. Because I like the idea of Tim Drake potentially growing up and becoming a Batman who shoots people. Like, I still really like that idea. I mean, is DC ever going to follow up on that now? Probably not. Fuck. Oh, dude, that was... Oh, god damn it. No. Oh, it sucks. Squirters are overrated. God damn it. My paper towel though. So it's all good. It's all good. Just annoying in my neighborhood. I have to clean my room anyways, but fuck. Well, at least it's fresh. All right, look, someone give me a pity like for that, cause that sucks. Fuck. Got soda all over my room and shit. Tastes good though. All right. But maybe that's what I get for saying that I want Tim Drake with guns being the Batman of the future. Maybe that's karma telling me that I'm wrong. Well, the universe can suck it, because I still believe that Tim Drake with guns goes hard. I still want to see that. That's still the ideal future for that character in my heart of hearts. 1610 Man says Jeff Johns' Aquaman, quote, the biracial allegory between warring races. True though. Very true. I like New 52 Aquaman. Ivan Reis was an amazing artist on that book. I think that's like the book that like got him his name. Well, actually, I think his parents gave him his name actually, but you know, I like it. It's the thing that like really got people invested in Ivan Reis as like an artist. That Aquaman book is amazing, and yeah, man, I don't know. I like it. Even the terribly named Aquaman and the Others, which there's a reason why they're called the Others, but like it's still just it's a really just unfortunate title. Should have come up with something else, but yeah, no, I really like the New 52 Aquaman book. It was really good. It was up there with, for me, New 52 Wonder Woman and New 52 Supergirl. Those were books that were amazing that no one talked about. Same thing with New 52 Action Comics. Again, amazing book. No one fucking talked about it. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Also, I gotta give it to him. The New 52 Blue Beetle book is much of a downgrade as I think that book is from the original run. It streamlines the character's origin very well. You know, it does a really good job of taking an origin for a character that is like intimately tied to a massive like universe shattering threat, and it says, actually, what if the Scarab was just some weird shit that a bunch of hitmen were trying to steal, and then not Brenda, because I think Brenda's having her like birthday party, and Paco and Jaime are on their way to the party. But yeah, just like Paco and Jaime are just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Scarab gets onto Jaime, and then Blue Beetle. I'm Blue Beetle. Beetle out. Beetleborgs. I like that origin a lot. You know, the rest of the New 52 Blue Beetle is kind of not great at all. But I really do like that origin for Blue Beetle. 1610 Man says John Wayne's Captain America quote. The A on my forehead's for America, Pilgrim. Oh, dude. Ultimate Captain America is so amazing. He's such a lovely character. God, they're gonna fuck him up so hard. New run. Oh, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Like, I don't know. I'm morbidly curious before I'm actually like looking forward to it. Supreme Omega says the problem with post 2011 Marvel comics is that they're under Disney's watch. Bob Iger is making sure the IP is profitable and clean. So that's why Max, Marvel Knights, and Ultimate Line won't work. Yeah, although Iger's out though, right? I thought Iger was out, but I don't know, man. Um, there's some stuff here and there that slipped through the cracks though. Because Garth Ennis will every once in a while come back into a Punisher book, and it is like the most egregiously violent thing in the world, and it's amazing. Arcus says, how you doing, Arcus? They should bring Mark Miller to write some Ultimate stuff. They should, but they won't. And like maybe Marvel reached out to him, but like I doubt that he's picking up the phone. Like Mark Miller is doing his own thing. I think the only reason he's working on that Superman title that he's pimping out, which I think it's supposed to come out like in the next like year and a half, 2 years. The only reason he's doing that is because he's a massive Superman fanboy. That's it. Outside of that, I don't think Mark really would care to work for Marvel or DC. I think he'd rather just do his own thing. Which, honestly, more power to the man. Like, my position is always, like, creators first. So if a creator has an idea for a thing, and they want to do their own thing, baby, go ahead. Baby, go ahead. Do your thing. Do your thing. Don't be hindered by corporate, you know. I love these characters. Like, I love Superman, I love Spider-Man, I love Batman, I love The Flash. You know, I love, you know, the X-Men, the Avengers. You know, I love Thor. I love all these characters, but, like, at the end of the day, they're not yours. Like, the company's, like, literally, like, lending them to you and telling you to maintain IP. So, if you have, like, an idea for something, like, truly creative, and you want to do it with your own characters, your own world, go for it. Do it. More power to you. That's just where I'm coming from, though. So, 1610 Man says, Marvel Now reboot of 2012. Yeah, well, because DC is new. The New 52 is 2011. Marvel Now is the following year. That's 2012. Do you spill it on my comics? No, I did not. I have made that mistake before, so I am very careful about having drinks near my comics. I say that as I literally just fucking carried my drink over my comics. Yeah. Actually, let me show you what I got this week. I already showed you that I got Flash Volume 18 by Jeremy Adams and Will Conrad. I love this book. I have a lot of the single issues for this already, but this book is amazing. I had to get the trade for this too. This is everything I love about this character. This is everything I love about DC Comics. And God, this book is awesome, man. This book is just so awesome. I love it. It really sucks that Jeremy Adams' run got cut short, but the ending is pretty solid from what I saw. And I don't know, man. I'm excited for Cy Spurrier's run. I like Cy Spurrier a lot as a writer from what I've seen of him. I think he could potentially do a really good job with the book. So yeah, that's me crossing my fingers. Also the art that Cy Spurrier has been posting has been really good. It's really trippy. The big thing, and I love this book with its whole like family vibe, but the big thing that really just gets my juices flowing, my Flash senses tingling, my tingles jingling, my bingles bangos bonging, is a lot of the weird sci-fi stuff that we're seeing reference for Cy Spurrier's run. The Flash, going back to the Silver Age, is a very sci-fi heavy character, and I'm excited to see that tone come back to the book. So I'm really here for the Cy Spurrier run on the Flash. It sucks that it's coming at the cost of Jeremy Adams, but I mean, the Jeremy Adams run has a really good ending, so I don't know, man. I'm down. Plus, he has a pretty long run, considering like how a lot of modern storytellers only get like 15, 20 issues. He got like, I think he got close to like 45 maybe. So yeah, he's not doing bad for himself. Anyway, the next book that I got is Green Arrow #3. I was actually reading this at the beginning of the stream, so I didn't really get a chance to finish it, but I did get this cover. This cover is really cool. I wanted to get the Pride cover because that had Connor Hawke on it, but I guess I was just too late. They all got snatched up, so I ended up getting this one instead. But yeah, this cover's really cool too. Yeah, let's see. Speaking of the Flash, I also got Flash 800. Again, this is. I mean, I read this at my local comic shop, and I just had them put it in my box, and I didn't get it for 3 weeks. But yeah, I'm really loving. I just love the Flash book right now. It's really good. Again, this is a really fun Jeremy Adams short where they're doing like a almost got him style kind of story with the villains of Keystone and Central City. Yeah, man, this book's really fun. Also confirms that the Flash is like the most busted character in the DC universe. You can't actually do anything with him. If you like take his powers to like the next logical conclusion, so you just have to build more insane shit around the Flash so he can just do something. But yeah, dude, I love this whole run. And is this a show cover? Yeah, this is a show cover. Oh, it's really dope. Yeah. Let me see. Mark Miller's 8-part Superman short pitch, beginning, middle, end from past to the future, origin of Krypton to Earth, Sun going red and supernova. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Mark Miller's Superman is like just Christopher Reeve movie Superman. Actually, speaking of, let's talk about that for a second. Superman, he's been recast. It's kind of weird seeing all the Snyder Cult people like freak out as hard as they are. Like, yeah, we all knew that Superman was gonna get recast. We knew that this was gonna be a reboot. I will say, David Cornhill. I don't know. It's a very British name for an American actor. I think he is, but I don't know. I do see the strong resemblance to Henry Cavill. There's a okay, and I know a lot of people who are like trying to clap back on the Snyder Cult are like, well, who does Henry Cavill look like? He just looks like Superman. So you just have to get over it. Okay, but like actually, if we approach this with like any sense of like sincerity here, the motherfucker does look like Henry Cavill. He looks like a younger Henry Cavill. It is the definition of the girl hanging out with her best guy friend going like, oh my god, I want a boyfriend who's just like you, but not you. That's kind of what that feels like, if we're gonna be honest. I mean, look, knowing James Gunn, I'm sure I'm so sure that this Superman movie is going to be like a big epic Silver Age, well, not Silver Age. I think it's gonna be very like Burn and post Burn in terms of like the way he approaches the characters and whatnot. But like the aesthetic is gonna be very Silver Age. It's gonna be very Frank Quietly. You know, it's gonna be. We're gonna see not Krypton. We're gonna see. I hope we don't see Krypton. Please stop Krypton. But I'm sure we're gonna see a very, like Fritz Lang inspired Metropolis. Which I think he can definitely pull off after watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You could make it work really well. I wonder how much of that in Guardians are like miniatures that he's working with, or if it's all CGI. I don't know. I think Gunn would do a really good job with like miniatures and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm not the director. I'm just some dork who likes movies and comics and geek shit, and I like James Gunn. But I'm really excited to see what James Gunn puts together with his Superman movie. It very much looks like it's going to be an adaptation of Action Comics 775, but they just replaced the Elite with the Authority. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. It definitely feels like it could wind up being a like a diss track for like the Snyderverse, which I feel like the Superman fandom just, in general, we gotta stop with like the petty attacks at like each other, and that's like that goes beyond film. That's like if someone says I like Superman Earth 1, don't like post pictures of All-Star Superman and say, no, you're reading Superman wrong, because you're reading the wrong Superman. You actually don't like Superman. You just like dark and gray, blah, blah, blah. Like, I remember back when I was in, like, the comic pop, like, Facebook group, and people were saying shit like that. I remember, like, I don't know, Superman fans get very pissy very easily. I was talking to Jack Genocide about this. I want to have him back on the channel, because I think we'd have a really interesting discussion, just about anything. But we were talking about Superman and how one of the things that turns him off about the character is the fan base, and how like Superman fans are just like the most like pretentious. Like, you can't just ask a Superman fan why they like Superman and get like a normal human being answer. It's gonna be like some, he represents the heart of America's beating drum of the 1930s ingenuity and the love of socialist values, and Superman is everything, and every man, woman, and child heart. And you don't just get a normal human fucking answer like, you know, he flies and laser eyes go burr. Like, you don't just get that. You have to get some like a whole fucking like college thesis. And he's like, how about you shut the fuck up? I mean, he didn't say it like that, but like that's me saying that, because I've definitely interacted with a lot of Superman fans where I'm just like, okay, how about you just shut the fuck up? It's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep. Spaceman fly, laser eyes go burr. Cool. That's all you gotta say. That's it. That's all you gotta say. I hope I didn't lose any subscribers off of that. Supreme Omega says, I'm so surprised you like Tim's dad being killed off, considering you dislike Barry's dead mom retcon. Because Chuck Dixon and Denny O'Neil opposed of Tim's dad ever being killed off. Well, it's one of those things where I don't like it, but I think the material that came out afterwards did a good job of justifying it in a way that I don't think the Flash comics have justified killing off Nora Allen and making that like a fixed point in time. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm weird like that. I don't know. I might sound hypocritical because that I am. I am. I'm a hypocrite. There. 1610 Man says, pre-New 52, Jeff Johns planned Aquaman Rebirth, essentially New 52 Aquaman set in the pre-New 52 DC. Interesting. Was this during the whole Sword of Atlantis era? When, like, Arthur was replaced by his cousin who was also named Arthur. It was a weird time in DC Comics history, man. Like, I love early 2000s DC. Mid to late 2000s DC is just a weird, like... Okay, what are we doing? What's going on here? New 52 Blue Beetle equals rebooted Streamlined to death. LOL. I mean, I think it worked in the case of Jaime. I don't think it worked in the case of Ted or Dan, but I don't know. Oh, that's another thing. With the Blue Beetle movie trailer, I already kind of noticed the Dan Garrett costume in the background and like the Ted Kord costume in the background, but like, oh dude, I wonder if there's gonna be like a weird time loop thing where Booster Gold is like, oh no, my buddy's dead. Oh wait, I am time traveler. Just pulls a version of Ted Kord out of reality and it's like, oh, actually no, you don't die. You're my friend. You now we got two Blue Beetles running around. I think that'd be pretty funny. Supreme Omega says, also a Bat Family question on Steph's 90s teen pregnancy arc. Do you feel it should be put back in continuity? Well, I never assumed that it was taken out of continuity. Am I wrong about that? It'd be like a real mistake to like undo that. Like, it really would. DC can't be that stupid. They can't be that stupid. I mean, they can't be that stupid. They've been that stupid in the past, but they can't be that stupid. If continuing IP is a main priority, that explains the current state of the Spider-Man book. Yes! Spider-Man is, and honestly has been since the 90s, nothing more than just maintaining IP. Granted, I think some writers and artists have done it better than others. Namely, J. Michael Straczynski and Ron Garney and John Romita Jr. That whole era was really good. But just like, oh, everything else is just, well, we gotta have a Spider-Man book on the shelf, so I guess we're gonna, yeah, Spider-Man. You gonna read it because you made mine Marvels. You gonna read it anyways. Spider-Man. Yeah. But yeah, also Spider-Man's just been in a weird state of like constantly feeling the need to fix itself. Like every creator that comes onto that book since the 90s has been trying to fix the character. It all fucking starts with those goddamn robot parents. Whoever thought it was a good idea to give Peter his parents back but as robots, oh my god, I don't think you realize you irrevocably fucked the Spider-Man title. It hasn't gotten better ever since. Because there were the robot parents, and then there was the clones, and then Aunt May died, although we found out not really. later on down the line. And then it's like the Clone Saga because, you know, Spider-Man's not young and sexy anymore, so we gotta fix him. Gotta fix Spider-Man because he's broken now. And now you have this clone named Ben Reilly, and now he's the new Spider-Man. Oh god, the editor for X-Men is now editing Spider-Man, and his whole mandate is that we have to make the arcs longer because long arcs sell well, according to him, because X-Men is doing well because of that reason. So now everyone hates clones, and oh my god, now we gotta have Spider-Man come back as the married guy, we tried to get rid of in the first place. So we're gonna have John Byrne 9/11 Mary Jane. And but no, not really, because it turns out that she just got abducted by a psycho superfan. And actually, but no, they still have to be broken up because they can't be together because it's stressful. Stress. And then Straczynski comes on board and fixes Spider-Man, but also makes him like weird and magic. Which, okay, I honestly didn't mind. I don't mind, you know, JMS trying to turn Spider-Man into Swamp Thing, essentially. I thought that was a really interesting idea, especially when you also just consider the bulk of the 90s and some of the Spider-Man characters, like Spider-Man 2099 and stuff like that. They're more steeped in science fiction at this point. And also, like, Ultimate Spider-Man and the Ultimate Universe, like, they cement that book as, like, no, this is the heavy sci-fi universe where heavy sci-fi Spider-Man exists. So, yeah, I don't know, go crazy. Go stupid. But I guess people didn't like that, so it got undone. But by the editors at Marvel, we got one more day. And then we get the writers revolving for like I think 6 months, and then you get Dan Slott, and Dan Slott's whole thing is we gotta take Spider-Man back to his basics because he got broken. Over these past couple years. We gotta fix him. And then his run is his run. I've talked about it more than I think I really should at this point. But then you get Nick Spencer, and Nick Spencer's whole thing is Dan Slott broke Spider-Man, so I gotta fix him. And now we're just in the bullshit that we're in now. And I'm sure the next Spider-Man writer is going to come onto this book, and then their whole thing is gotta fix him. Gotta fix Spider-Man. Gotta fix the hack the system and turn it into the brain of the istum. Like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Spider-Man's in a really bad place right now. It kind of sucks. Not gonna lie, feels really bad. 1610 Man says canceled Grant Morrison's Spider-Man pitch. Peter Parker and Spider-Man split apart and become the Ditko versions of themselves. Is that like a real like Grant Morrison pitch, or are you pitching that? Either way, it's an amazing idea. I would love to see that. Oh no! Oh no! Wait. Okay. No! Alright, that was it. Supreme Omega says, on DC reprints, thoughts on DC reprinting Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns, and Flashpoint over and over and over again. They can reprint other material, but it's always Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, and Flashpoint. That's because DC's primary thing, as far as comics are concerned, are publishing. And as a publisher, you want to have your heavy hitters at the front of the line all the time. It's annoying, but, you know, as much as I want a Trial of the Flash reprint, we ain't gonna get that. We're gonna get more Flashpoint and more Dark Knight Returns and more Watchmen because those books sell. Those books are always gonna sell. Um, Josiah says, "What's the last comic you read that reminded you of why you love comics so much?" Fuck. Kind of the book that like one of my next videos is on. Um, I'm really getting into doing reels. I think those are really fun to do. I like doing the big epic videos, but like reels are also just like a fun, quick way to like get the word out for really cool comics that I'm reading right now. Um, and one of the last books that I read that I really enjoyed was Hitomi by H.S. Talk and Isabella Mazzanti, I think her name is. Um, that comic is great. It's not a big epic superhero thing, but it's just a really solid. It's a really solid samurai book. And give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Be back in like a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. Uh, wait, or am I? Yep, voice is doing a thing. Uh, but sorry, I was just on the phone with my girlfriend. We were talking about like the details of Friday. Uh, mm, feels good. Feels good. Um, not good, but feels good. I'm gonna say it feels good until it feels good. Um, fuck, where was I? Um, okay, here we go. But yeah, the last comic that I really loved that like reminded me of why I love comics was Hitomi. That book is really good. Um, but man, I'm also like just reading a bunch of older stuff too, and it's reminded me like why I got into comics in the first place. Um, like particularly all the Ultimate Universe stuff. That reminds me of like the magic I felt when reading comics as a kid. Um, and it's kind of weird. People always kind of say that like when you go back to older comics, you're really just taking yourself back to the good times you were having when you were like a kid. But I don't know. It's not really that for me. It's more so just like I I see the art, I see the passion, and I see how it impacted me. Um, I feel that with Ultimate's really hard. Um, I feel that with despite the fact that I now have come to the conclusion, personally that like I don't like the Jeff Johns era on Action Comics. Um, I still feel something when I read Superman Up and Away. Is it Up and Away or is it Up in the Sky? It's one of those. It's the one that like not Pete Ross. Pete his name eludes me. Um, but the book that Jeff Johns co-wrote with Kurt Busiek, um, that was a really good book. That was like one of the first Superman comics that like I really read as a kid. Um, I remember I read that at Phantom Comics after watching Superman Returns with my mom and dad. Yeah, so bizarre. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, going back to the Flash currently, like the Jeff Johns era Flash and like the Mark Waid stuff. It's reminding me like why I love comics. There's just a lot of really good comics that like I'm going back to from my childhood. That are like, yeah, this is great. Um, but yeah, among like the newer stuff, Hitomi is a book that like really struck me. It like really struck a chord with me. Um, 1610 man says current era or the current state of Spider-Man books is the public stunt to create audience alienating era until they eventually go back to fan service status quo as usual in the cycle of consumerism. I mean that's black pilled as fuck, but like yeah, you're right. Um, new Superman actor has been on the new Superman actor list for a couple years. Okay, yeah, I didn't know who he was. Apparently he's in Pearl, which I haven't seen Pearl, but I want to watch it. Um, I want to watch that, and I want to watch X, which I think is like I think Pearl is the prequel to X, but I haven't seen either. But I don't know. It's a weird, fucked up Mia Goth film, so I'm gonna watch it. What's up, Tevia? How you doing, man? Arca says, I hate the Silver Age aesthetic. It reinforces the idea of Superman as an old character and he should be young and sexy. Early 2000s stated tomorrow is the best choice. Oh well, that's what I mean when I say the like a Silver Age aesthetic. Um, I think James Gunn's Superman is going to. I think it's going to have the same vibe as the City of Tomorrow era for Superman, in that these are stories with modern post 9/11, like specifically post 9/11 sensibilities, but the aesthetic, like the visual flair, is very like 1950s. It's very um, Tom Strong. It's very Alan Moore's Top 10. Well, I mean, it's not quite that extreme, but like it is doing a very like world. They're doing like a World of Tomorrow type thing with the aesthetic there, and I would love to see James Gunn do that. Because that's my favorite era of Superman. I love the City of Tomorrow era. I love the 2000s. I love the whole President Lex era. I thought it was really good. Even if I don't think a lot of that stuff was written all that great, and I don't think it ended great too. I Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness's Public Enemies is a really fun comic that I don't think narratively works, but Jeff Loeb is one of those writers who writes for his artists to just draw cool shit. So when I read those Jeff Loeb comics, that's the mindset that I have to put myself in when I read them. But yeah, I don't know. All in all, early 2000s era was really good for Superman. I think. I think that's what not Jim Lee. I think that's what James Gunn's gonna harken back to really hard. 1610 Man says the Authority in Superman Legacy sounds like a setup for the Authority solo franchise. It does. Which is kind of unfortunate. I would really like to just see a Superman movie with Superman characters in it. But I mean, if he wants to do his version of Action Comics 775, I mean, it's a story that a lot of people love. I personally am not a fan of it because I feel like it just reinforces that notion that Superman is old-fashioned, and I never agreed with that. That's some shit that starts with Kingdom Come and then just it bleeds into the mainstream. And was anybody really thinking that? Like, actually thinking that? Because Death of Superman is like, it's like right there. It was like a big deal, you know? Six Flags put up like the Superman Man of Steel ride in the 90s. It's a big deal. Superman had like popular cartoons throughout the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. Like, I don't think anybody but people who are like, image is bad. I don't think anybody but them were really thinking about Superman's relevancy. And even like now, like I'm looking at this like faux Voltron My Adventures of Superman cartoon that's coming out. You're seeing a bunch of people who are like, oh my god, they're doing Superman, but it's anime. Oh my god, I can't wait. They're doing Tumblr fan art and all that. It's Superman's not irrelevant, you know? Like, that's like the ultimate fallacy that we told ourselves, and by we I mean DC, but it's the ultimate fallacy that we told ourselves throughout the 90s and the 2000s, and that's what we built a lot of Superman stories around, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's just so fallacious, but it is what it is. People love it, I guess. 1610 Man says the Comic Pop fan group chat sounds like this fan's version versus this fan's version Nightmare. Yeah, it was. It very much was. That's why I had to leave it. Although I met a lot of cool people there though. That's where I met Tevia. You know, that's where I met. That's where I met a lot of my friends. So like, yeah, no. I'm grateful that I was there for the short time that I was. Arcus says, "Thank you, Beanie. Yeah, most Superman fans are exactly like that. All they care about is how hopeful and lighthearted Superman should be, and they can't move past Christopher Reeve's phase." That's the thing, and that I love the Christopher Reeve, like I love that first movie. I appreciate what Richard Donner was going for with that second movie. Like, even if he got his way and like did the movie himself, I still don't think I would have loved it. Not nearly as much as I love the first one, but that film, because it is just like one big film. It's like one like 4.5 hour epic. But that film is the perfect adaptation of pre-Crisis Silver Age Superman comics. The problem is that pre-Crisis Silver Age Superman comics aren't relevant to contemporary Superman. So we gotta move on. We gotta move on from it. Now, regardless of how you felt about the Zack Snyder take on Superman, I really appreciate how they were trying to take, like, a Superman. It's where they're taking the Superman archetype and, like, they were, like, weirdly doing, like, a pastiche of Superman, but he was also just super. It was weird. It was a very weird take, but I appreciated the idea behind it. They were basically saying, like, okay, what if Superman, like, starts off as like John Byrne's Man of Steel Superman, and then just kind of slowly transitions into a more Silver Age style Superman. Like, how does that work in like a post 9/11, post like social media, like Twitter boom, like approaching the singularity? Like, what does that Superman look like in that world, in our world? What does Superman's, like, what's his role in our society then? I think that's very fascinating. I think if you just take a step back and you look at Batman v Superman, in relation to the politics of the day, like specifically, like, 2014 to 2016, 2017, during that, like, the pre-Trump era and the Trump era. I think if you just take a step back and you look at that movie in relation to that era of America, it matches up frighteningly well. It is very on point. I just think that we might have been a little too close. We might have been a little too close to, like, really see what Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder were, like, cooking. Not me though. I got it. I can smell what he was cooking, but not everyone can eat meat. Jeff Johns' unmade Aquaman Rebirth. The pre-52 book was set post-Brightest Day after Arthur's resurrection. Oh, then yeah, of course. So yeah, it was just gonna be Aquaman Rebirth, like another, just like Flash Rebirth and Green Lantern Rebirth, which were books that I still think didn't have to happen, but I'm in the minority there. I'm in the minority there, so it'd be like that. What does nobody talk about Paul Jenkins Spider-Man? Largely, I think the art. I think I love Humberto Ramos. I think he's a really talented guy. His artwork in the 2000s for Spider-Man is a turnoff for a lot of people. So I get why no one really talks about his era, even though a lot of, like, important stuff happens in there. Like, I think that's where they do the retcon for the Lizard being like completely in control of his faculties, and it's just Kurt being like an unhinged psycho. Um, Also, I think Eddie Brock having cancer comes from that era. If I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, it's literally just I think a lot of people just don't remember the art, or don't remember it because they didn't read it because the art turned them off. Uh, that, and it came out around the same time period as JMS turning Spider-Man into Swamp Thing. That's the other big reason why I don't think people remember it that well. David Michelinie's Spider-Man robot android parent story. Yeah, that was a weird era in Spider-Man history. On the robot parents arc, David Michelinie hated working on that subplot. The arc was commissioned by the Spidey editor at the time. No answer or resolution drove Michelinie off of Amazing Spider-Man. I believe that. I 100% believe that. And my man's was cashing a paycheck, and you know what? I'm glad he got his money, because that's some dookie when you got to work on some dog shit like that. The Grant Morrison Spider-Man Deco picture is a real thing. Oh, that's hilarious, dude. Maybe now that Joe Quesada's gone and Grant Morrison is kind of playing nice with Marvel now, I wouldn't mind seeing that realized. You know, what's the worst that could happen? You break Spider-Man forevermore. No, it's nothing to lose at this point. Oh, good night, Tevya. Non-superhero comic question. All right. What you got, Supreme? Back in the early 2010s, Image made a big splash with titles like Saga, Wicked and the Divine, Sex Criminals. Now in 2023, that early 2010 spark for Image is gone. I wonder why. A lot of those books just ran their course. In the case of books like Saga, they took a hiatus, and the hiatus was just a little long, and people just kind of lost interest. The other thing is, like, contrary to popular belief, superhero fatigue is a fallacy. Because now you got all these indie titles that are just basically Marvel DC superhero titles, but they're under like Image and Valiant and Aftershock and in like AWO, or is it AWA, and like you're starting to see more superhero-y style books coming out. So yeah, I really think it was. This is me being like kind of shitty. I really think it was at the peak of geek culture, when like the MCU was like at its peak. You had the comics people going like, yes, well the plebeians are while they're shaving what's left of the wrinkles in their brains down and getting the chicken breast brains with the superheroes on their Saturday morning cartoons on the cinema. I am reading Saga. I'm reading East of West. I'm reading The Wicked and the Divine. But then, like, a lot of those books just kind of ran their course, and I think now that people are kind of tuning out of superheroes on the big screen, they're coming back to superheroes in comics. I don't know. That's my best guess. Beanie, give me your most nastiest ship takes you've ever had. Nastiest ship? Okay. Let's see. Um. Have I? Yeah. I've already talked about how I think Connor and Cassandra Cain. That's a good ship. I like that ship. Um. Fuck. I know I have like nastier ships. Let me think. Let me think for a second. Oh, you know what? Miles Morales and Kate Bishop. But like, not just that. Miles Morales, Kate Bishop, as well as Miles Morales and Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. I am here for fuckboy era Miles. I really want to see Miles go through a fuckboy phase and like really learn and grow through that. Um, and I think it'd be great to see that communicated through Miles having a like a little double dip. You know, I like my I like my spicy food on the side, and I like my you know potato salad with raisins in it over here. I like dipping my chicken in both in both cups. I don't know. That's maybe the spiciest take I got. I want to see Miles try to double dip. I don't know. Outside of that, let's see. Um, I remember when Ace, like Wallace West, DC was building up a thing between him and Emiko Queen. Kind of undercooked, but I think you could do something interesting with that. I don't know. Damn, bro, you got me thinking. You got me really thinking. I don't know. What are some of y'all's nastiest ships? No, let's not put the burden all on me. Come on, let's all get up in here. Let's see what we're all thinking. Yeah, that's it. The nastiest one I got is like Miles and Kamala and Kate Bishop. I don't know. I think you could do something with that. Oh, I guess for the movies, I'm seeing a lot of people ship like Miles with like Penny Parker. I think that's a pretty cute ship. Like honestly, I think it's adorable. Um, mm, uh, Batman and Starfire. No, I'm kidding. That was bad. um, you know, while we're on this, you know a ship that I don't understand? Like, for the life of me, I do not understand at all. I don't get the Damaray ship. Like, I don't get the appeal of Damian Wayne and Raven. I don't get it. Like, because they're both emo, they have daddy issues. Like, I mean, it kind of works in like the DC like New 52 animated universe, I guess. But like, as far as the comics are concerned, like, nah, Raven's like 15 years older than Damian is. It's weird and creepy. Um, yeah, she's like Dick Grayson's age. Like that's not okay. That is plain and simple not okay. I don't like that. It feels weird. It's icky. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't like that idea. You know another ship though that I think you could do something really interesting with. If we can't have Peter get with MJ, If that just is a thing that cannot happen because of editorial bullshit. You know what I think would just be a really good, just like take this character back to square one, but like grow him up. Um, have Peter get with Sally Averill. Have Peter Parker get with Sally Averill, and then to have, like, like say that Sally had like a kid from like a first marriage or whatever, and then Peter, he's a good stepfather, and he's married to Sally Averill, and he semi-retires the Spider-Man role, and he's kind of like a Jay Garrick type figure for Miles, and he just is he's a dad over there with Sally Averill, that chick that he asked out in Amazing Fantasy 15 who turned him down. Now she's dating Spider-Man. I think that'd be really adorable. I don't know. I like that idea. Jeff Lowe, Superman, the real Troop of the Krypton. Yeah, that was really not good. I'm glad that got erased almost immediately. 1610 Man says the Image Comics early mid 2000s indie spark. Marvel and DC kept stealing their talent. Yeah, that was a big thing too. Supreme Omega says on O'Neill's Bat Bible, he opposed Batman ever having a biological child, whether it's Damian or Helena. He feels Batman having a biological kid will sideline the adopted kids in the surrogate family. Well, he was right. Now the problem is that when Grant Morrison like conceived of Damian, Damian, I mean, he was in the book, and he did take like a center stage role, but then he died. Like, his character came to a solid conclusion with his death in Batman R.I.P. Not R.I.P. Batman Incorporated. There's nothing else to really do with Damian now. His story's been told. Like, that's why, like, it's really cringy to me when you, like, you'll see those like flash forward, like, let's look at what the DC universe looks like in 20-something years or 30-something years. And Damian Wayne is Batman, and he looks like the Batman from Batman's issue 666. And it's like, the whole point of that issue is that that's a dark future that has to be avoided, because that's what would happen if Damian Wayne doesn't realize the power of friendship and magic. Like, there was a point to that story, and now that the fucking point of the story is, isn't that Damian Wayne Batman costume cool? Isn't Damian Wayne being Batman in the future cool? I don't know, man. Just annoying. But yeah, it took place after Infinite Crisis. I don't remember what I was talking about. I'm sorry, Tevye. 2000s comics, good times for 2000s comics fans like me. Probably not good times for 90s comic fans. Definitely not 2010s comic fans. LOL. Yeah, that's true. Better idea for my Adventures with Superman. We see events only from Lois's perspective. We don't see Clark and Superman as one, but as separate people, because we don't show it until Lois learns of it. Oh, that'd be a really cute idea. Like, you kind of bring back the Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane kind of stories. That'd be that. Honestly, I think that could work. Personally, got me want to see Jonathan Kent. Oh yeah, wasn't that show going to be on HBO Max, but it got beat out by Harley Quinn? That sucks. And Pearl's a prequel to X. Okay. I haven't seen either, but I'm going to watch them. In fact, I might watch them like tonight, actually. Greg Rucka's Lois Lane book, post 2016 political drama movie pitch. Reading it, okay, I didn't finish it, but I read the beginning of it. The entire time, I was just thinking to myself, God damn, this would be so good if this was Greg Rucka in like 2004. I don't know what it is about contemporary Greg Rucka doing a Lois Lane book, but like, it just wasn't hitting the same way that Gotham Central was hitting. Maybe it's a thing where just Greg Rucka doesn't give a fuck about the Lois Lane larger DC universe bullshit as much as he does like Gotham City. But I don't know. It didn't hit the same as Gotham Central for me. Journalist rather than comic book writer. Greg Rucka, yeah. Well, I mean, that's like the thing. That's why you would think his book would be really good, but it just wasn't. Question: how would you kill off the Paul character from Amazing Spider-Man? I wouldn't. I would have him continue to date MJ and then pump actual babies into her, while Peter dates Sally Averill. That's the hill I'm gonna die on now. It's Peter dating Sally Averill. Yep. Oh yeah, take a full circle. Question: how do you feel about the Secret Invasion show? I watched the first episode like yesterday, and I watched the second episode earlier today. Or I guess the first half of the second episode earlier today. I think it's pretty good so far. I'm enjoying it. I know there's a lot of people on Twitter who are like saying, "Yeah, this is the worst thing ever," and apparently like the viewership has dropped off like dramatically. But I don't know, man. I think it's pretty good. Maybe it's just because I'm in an ultimate Nick Fury kind of mood, and I really like Henry Kissinger, Shaft, Nick Fury, and he has that flavor more so here than he does in any of the other MCU installments. But yeah, it's my flavor, man. It's what I'm into right now. I dig it. Could it fall off? 1,000,000%. It could definitely fall off. I saw there being a rumor that they're gonna do the Super Skrull, but instead of it being like the actual Super Skrull, it's like, here's a part from Groot, and that's why he stretches, and here's a part from fucking Korg or some shit, that's where the rocks come from, and he has the Extremis virus, that's why he also is on fire. Yeah, like shit like that. That, I don't know. Hearing that made me just go like, fuck this. But again, that's a rumor. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna do Super Skrull. I hope not. I really hope they don't fuck up the Super Skrull just before they make a Fantastic Four movie. Like, what's even the point? Why even at that point? I don't know. But yeah, so far I think the show's pretty cool. Secret Invasion equals wannabe Jason Bourne political thriller. I mean, I feel that, except I think the Secret Invasion comic is terrible, so I'm cool with this new version. That's the other thing I've realized about a lot of comic book movies that have come out this year in particular. I ended up liking them a lot more because we're getting to a point now where comics are just adapting the like actual garbage now. So, let's make a Flash movie based on Flashpoint. Well, between the comic and the like really crappy TV show version of the already crappy comic, you can only go up from here. And I thought they did go up from there. I liked the movie. Same with Across the Spider-Verse. I still don't like it near as much as I love Into the Spider-Verse, but it still takes like the Spider-Verse idea and it actually does all right. You know, it's still pretty decent. Especially compared to the comic, which is ass. It's like liquid, fiery, just nuclear ass. All due respect to Dan Slott and to Sweet Pea Chemicoli, but I hate that comic. So yeah, no, I feel like Secret Invasion is it's following suit. Here's a really just doggy diarrhea like poopy butt dog shit comic. All due respect to Brian Michael Bendis and Lionel Francis Yu. But just absolute shit show book. And let's actually do something interesting with the premise. I'm down with it. I think it's pretty cool. Toby says we technically did a good adaptation of Secret Invasion. And Avengers vs. Mightiest Heroes. Yeah, that's cheating though, Tevia. Avengers EMH is like literal perfection. It is literally the I would say the best adaptation of Marvel comics ever. Not even Marvel comics. I think it's like some of the best adaptations of comics, just period. I think that highly of that show. Arcus says, what I don't like about My Adventures with Superman is that it looks like they want to turn Superman into Midoriya, but not the cool side of him being overly emotional baby girl. I don't think they're gonna go that far with it. I think they're gonna really play up the like, ooh woo, I'm Superman, I'm Clark, and ooh woo, I'm awkward in situations, ooh woo. But when it comes to him like fighting and like taking charge as Superman, that's where he feels comfortable. I don't mind that interpretation. I honestly don't mind a Superman that like he puts on the costume and he can fight monsters, he can fight epic demons, he can fight space Satan, but when it comes to like, you know, cute tomboy with an oversized parka like cornering him, well, like, Superman, give me the story and make it as slow as you possibly can. He just like tenses up and is like a schoolboy in the blacktop. He's like, I don't know how to talk to people. I did the thing. Like, I don't mind that version of Superman. I think that is pretty adorable. I think you can make that work. Avengers vs. Mighty Heroes is like the greatest show on earth. Yeah, it's great. Indie comics creators sound pretentious when they crap on superhero genre. Dude, I don't remember who it was. For the longest time, I heard this was Andy Diggle, but now I'm not sure. It might have been Warren Ellis. It might have been Garth Ennis, but there was a prominent indie creator who once said, "Superhero comics are for," and I quote, "faggots who can't cope with reality." Now, growing up, I was a big indie comics fan just because, I mean, part of it was me, like, trying to do the whole, like, I'm mature, I read Hellblazer. I mean, it's not really, it's DC, but, like, it's indie DC. But, like, I was like, I read Hellblazer, and I read Hellboy, And I don't read your silly superhero stuff, even though I was reading The Flash and Spider-Man and Batman actively at the time. But, like, you know, still, I was like, I don't read your silly, superheroes. I was one of those kids. But I could have sworn I heard someone say that about, like, superhero fans, just like they're Fs who can't cope with reality. And, like, I don't know, there's something about that. It's like, bro, it's all comics, man. No matter how you slice it, no matter what you're reading, it's all comics, bro. That's all it is, man. That's all it ever was. Arcus says, wait, no, wrong person. So Supreme Omega says, also I feel Image is no longer the only game in town when it comes to big, well-promoted creator-owned comics. Boom has been booming, like, you know, living up to the name. So is AWO, so is Aftershock. I know Samurai Doggy was a massive book for Aftershock recently. So yeah, man, like, I don't know, just Image, I think they rested on their laurels for a long time, and now just they got some competition. They got some stiff competition. Stream says also. Oh wait, no, I already read that one. I'm being just dumb. No, there we go. Okay. Josiah says, "Am I the only one who thinks Saga sucks and it's way overrated?" No, you're not the only person. I like Saga. My problem with Saga isn't really Saga itself. It's more so like the fan base surrounding Saga. It's the same way that I like just kind of cringed out on Superman fans, I think like 20-30 minutes ago. I feel the exact same way about Saga. Like, the fan base is just annoying as fuck. Like, oh my god, I get it, you're smart because, like, what if fairies and, like, science were, like, at, like, war with each other? And, like, what if everyone, like, said fuck? And, like, it was bloody. So it's, like, bloody, but, like, fantasy, but everyone talks, like millennials and Gen Xers and Gen Zers and like shui. Like, how about you fuck off? How about you shut the fuck? Like, I don't know. That's just that's. I love Saga, but Saga fans just shut the fuck up. Shut up. You are nowhere near as smart as you think you are. But that's everybody. I feel like a lot of people need to hear that. Especially people like on the internet. People just need to hear like, hey man, shut up. You're nowhere near as smart as you think you are. No one is as smart as they think they are. Just to have a little bit of humility when you interact with other people. I think that's important for like just being a person in a community, but that's just me. Peter Parker x Kitty Pryde. You know what? Honestly, for the longest time, this was pre Hickman doing House and Powers of X. But for the longest time, I thought, okay, if we can't have Peter and MJ together, wouldn't it be a really interesting idea for... And this is when the expansion was, like, in the middle of Central Park. Like, wouldn't it be an interesting idea for Peter Parker to work as a school teacher at the Xavier Institute, and then he falls in love with Kitty Pryde, and he and Kitty like have a relationship? I think that would have been interesting. I I don't know. I think there's something there, um, that just never got picked up on. Um, but I don't know. That's just me. Um, Supreme Omega says, also on the Denny O'Neil Bat Bible, so many damage stories in the 2000s could have been prevented if they didn't throw that Bible out. War games, Under the Red Hood, yeah, war crimes, lasting problems for Batman. Yeah, a lot of that's just not. Yeah. They should not have thrown the baby out with bathwater with that one. Arcus has a nasty ship. Nastiest ship, Superman and every superheroine and supervillainous at the same time. Just like Injustice, but Superman becomes the ultimate harem master. So like it's Frank Miller's Superman. I'm down with that. 1610 Man says, simple, soft reboot, canonize things audiences liked, but retcon things they didn't like. Don't remember what we were talking about there, but it sounds like we were on a roll somewhere. 1610 Man says, or Supreme Omega says, I feel editors like Denny O'Neil, Karen Berger, Roy Thomas are a different breed of editorialship now that is dead. Yes, you are right. You are 100% right. I don't think I can communicate to you just how right you are. No, I'm not one of those people who runs around with the Grant Morrison logic of like editors are evil vampires who need to be staked through the heart. I don't think that strongly about editors, but I've definitely spoken to editors at Marvel. Maybe one editor at DC. I don't actually know what they do. They might be one of those people with like a weird, just made up position. I don't know. But I've had conversations with editors in comics. These people aren't editors. They are brand managers. That's the best way I can put it. 1610 Man says, adapt the good stories instead of the bad and the mediocre filler. Supreme Omega says, on my comics reading list, I have been reading more classic indie stuff like Grendel by Matt Wagner. Oh, that's a good one, I'm told. I haven't read it myself, but I heard it's really good. I wish more people read classic indie stuff like the 80s and 90s. I think the big problem is just a lot of it's not super well collected. Like Madman, for example, that's a really good book, just no one knows about it because it's not super well collected. 1610 Man says, adapt the good stories instead of the bad, mediocre, and the filler. Wait, no, fuck, I already read that. I'm tired, sorry. Sounds like Garth Ennis said that quote. But it's weird. I could imagine Garth Ennis saying that, but I could also imagine someone who doesn't like Garth Ennis saying that Garth Ennis said that. But I don't know. It's also the early 2000s, so like you could get away with saying a lot back then. Supreme says, though with manga, big battle shonen manga titles can just as easily be cliche written as superhero comics. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. That's the funny thing when people always kind of do the whole like manga's original and comics they're unoriginal and stupid, and it's like, bro, why? Okay, if manga, all right, are like so special and so brilliant and so unique in their storytelling, why do we have Hunter x Hunter and its 800,000 million clones in the form of Black Butler, Naruto, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen. Like these all stem from Hunter x Hunter. So like, yes, they're original. Like and I like all these things, but like let's just keep it a buck, man. Let's just keep it a buck, bro. That's just where I'm at. I don't know, man. Supreme says, for me, my big issue with the superhero genre, with the big two, is that I wish classic deaths weren't undone. Characters are allowed to age, mantles are passed down, and the creators weren't screwed over. You are asking for a lot, because that sounds like common sense to me, and I so I got time for common sense. Shut up. How dare you? 1610 Man says, shonen manga equals superhero comics in another region. Yeah, they are. They literally are. They literally are. Arcus says, this is like the last one I'm going to do before I actually pop off and maybe watch Shield or what? Not Shield. Secret Invasion? Whatever the fuck. Arcus says, maybe I'm too old, but when I think of anime Superman, I think of Shinashiro, Watanabe, Ninja Scroll, or Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Something in that style, not cutesy shonen AI stuff. I hear you on that. But I think, especially in a post-Invincible world, that art style is going to flourish. Because it's quick, it's easy to do, and it's easy to animate. I don't know. I think it could work, though. I legitimately think it could work. But, alright, guys. I am going to call it a day. Thanks for coming by. That was I love doing this. And thank you for all the support with, like, you know, my cat and all that. I greatly appreciate it. But, yeah, guys. I am going to catch you later. I'll see you next week. I'm going to try to do some more reels. Before I, like, get back in the full swing of doing, like, big epic videos again. Yeah, we're definitely going to have some more, like, just standard videos. But I do want to take full advantage of the whole, like, reels and shorts feature that YouTube has. But, yeah, thanks for watching, and I am going to catch you in the next one. So, until next time, adios, nachos, adios.